This is 7-5 Radio with Walter Yerkew and Peter Scoop Stanton. This is the radio show that will break your neck, if your neck needs breaking. And here are the hosts of 7-5 Radio, Walter Yerkew, star of the biggest documentary movie ever made, The 7-5, and Peter Scoop Stanton, who starred in To Catch a Predator.
Well, we're moving on now. We're moving on up to the side, to a deluxe apartment in the sky. We're moving on up to the side.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, one and all. This is Peter Scoop Stanton with Walter Yerkew and Mike Reichbrandt, and we do have a change of pace in opening music. Walter, what was that all about, sir?
Well, we heard you were moving, so anything is better than the dump in. So I figured I'd do just play the same song that the Obamas played when they won in 2008.
Right. And speaking of the east side, the Obamas went east from Chicago to D.C., and I did move out of Fred Sanford's house. And then speaking of Fred Sanford's son, Desmond Wilson, actor who played Lamont Wilson, Lamont Sanford recently passed. Anyways, I did move out of Fred Sanford's house. I have a little basement apartment. It's small and it's just absolutely cluttered, but it's it's like staying at the Plaza Hotel. But anyways, we are red hot and rolling this 31st of January 2026. Walter Yerkew, Mike Reichbrandt, and yours truly, Scoop Stanton. We want to say hello to all of our special listeners, including Little Billy Keebler and the men and alleged women of the Yanadosas New York Fire Department, New York's finest, New York's bravest, New York's boldest, New York's strongest, and those living on Long Island, especially in the 2nd Congressional District, as well as all members of ICE and U.S. Border Patrol. Anyways, first order of business, as always, we want to remember those members of the law enforcement community murdered in line of duty. Tonight we remember Deputy Sheriff Derek Bonham of the Weakley County, Tennessee Sheriff's Department. End of watch, January 30th, 2026. His killer is in custody. Also, police officer Elijah Garrettson of the Caparis Cove, Texas Police Department. End of watch, January 11th, 2026. His killer committed suicide. Anyways, just like the last three shows, this one's going to be a barn burner. Disgraced former CNN employee Don Lemon was finally arrested. A couple weeks ago, him and a bunch of rabble-rousers stormed a church during church services, disrupting the church service because supposedly one of the pastors had the same name as the ICE director for St. Paul, Minnesota. And so, anyways, Mr. Lemon videotaped the whole shenanigans. He conspired with these people to storm the church, and a bunch of federal magistrates decided not to sign off on a warrant, but he was indicted by a federal grand jury. So this week in Los Angeles, he was finally taken into custody, which is some good news because Don Lemon, he is a one-trick pony. Everything to him is either white supremacy or white privilege. So he used his black and gay and liberal privilege for the longest time. But finally, the Attorney General, Pam Boundy, finally got off her ass and did something. So good news, Don Lemon was arrested. He was released without bail, of course, because it's America now. But he still has to face the music. Mike, what say you about Don Lemon getting arrested?
No, it's great. It was absolutely necessary, absolutely needed, and it sends the right message. You just need to start arresting a hell of a lot more of these people now and get this thing rolling. Start making them feel the pain for what they've been doing. There was a incident tonight where they invaded a synagogue where Tom Suozzi was speaking, a Democrat congressman, but apparently not, left enough for them. They went after him there. They're invading churches now and following Christians around, and they think ICE people are supposedly members of. these people need to be dealt with appropriately. They need to all be arrested, charged. If this was abortion clinics, we'd be watching this on CNN, on nonstop loops. So I'm glad to see it.
Right. Well, what say you about Don Lemon, who you're definitely no fan of?
We understand that, the guy's, a poor quality human being, and he takes advantage of any kind of photo op he can, including when he was still, on CNN. More so now, it's quite possibly where, he just hoped to get arrested along with these idiots, and have this opportunity to go to court. Jesse Smollett, used the ploy to get arrested, to look like he was attacked by MAGA, and he ended up getting arrested. Last week, just this past week, Omar Moreno, whatever the hell her name is, got squirted as soon as she winked at the guy at the first row with the syringe full of apple cider vinegar, and that was a photo op. And now Mr. Lemon is going to be doing the same thing. He's going to take advantage of this, and he's going to use it. He's going to have his day in court. He's going to have his say in court, as is any criminal's right is. And I believe he got this thing started. I think he has an inside way to get in touch with these professional protesters. And Mr. Trump said, the obvious. Of course, they deny it. The signs are all printed, by a professional printer. They're at the ready, at a moment's notice. And this is the ploy that the left is taking. And I'm glad he got arrested. It'll follow him around. But he's going to use it as a badge of honor, to say, look what I did for my Democratic Party. Hopefully Pam Bondi will throw the book at him, and make him pay a huge fine, and maybe definitely some time in jail, because this is a federal crime. And it's many, many counts because of all the people that were in church at their worship services. So, he's got a long hill to climb, but I think he's willing to do it just so he could smile at the camera.
Well, it's a very interesting take. Mike, do you agree with Walter said that Don Lemon did all this to get in front of the cameras, even though he's facing jail and fines?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Don Lemon's a narcissistic psychopath, right? He's like a lot of them. So definitely attention-seeking is right there in his wheelhouse. So that's 100% spot on. But Walt brought up another good point. You have all these professional agitators and protesters, right? These people are all paid. It's all coordinated. It's all funded, and it's all for the same general goal, to stop ICE, to allow for illegal immigrants to be here so they can be included in the voting block, and to steer power to the left, the political left. It's all the same script. We saw it in BLM in 2020, same exact thing, So right. I think Walt's spot on with this. Right. He's absolutely right. That's exactly what this is.
Outstanding. Yeah, but that's the difference between us and everybody else, because we all have been we all had the unwanted ride in the back of RMP, and it's like, man, this absolutely sucks. But but Don Lemon's a different individual. Anyway, speaking of a different individual, last week we broke down the Alex Preddy shooting before everybody else, because we are live on Saturday nights. And it turns out that Nurse Preddy, who they made another Mother Teresa, was just an absolute piece of trash. He was doing what he was doing in the beginning of the month, just harassing ICE. This time he's spitting on a vehicle and actually causing damage to the taillight. But anyways, I want to turn over to Walter, who had this brilliant analysis about people fooling around, finding out, and the difference between being a protester and just being a pain in the ass. Walt, take it away.
All right. Well, I post, a few times a day, different things. They may pop into my head, in my own opinion and my own analogies. And I compared ice in Jack Daniels and to ice in the street. When I put ice in my Jack Daniels, which I do very rarely, it's only when it's warm I put ice in it. We're going to come back into these words.
Of course. Well,
Give me a chance
folks,
to put ice
when
in
we
my
come
Jack
back, Walter, we'll be talking about Jack Daniels. I gotta look for my bottle. Anyways, this is 75 Radio on Liberty News Radio Network. Take away, boys.
As you are aware, America is divided over every fault line possible. This is intentionally fostered by those who do not love God, family, or country. We believe a peaceful future as a free people absolutely depends on civility. Clarion Call for Civility is looking for funding and volunteers at every level to make our hopes and efforts a reality. Please donate, sign our pledge, and help us in our sacred cause. Please visit callforcivility.com for more details. Callforcivility.com.
Cybercrime is exploding. Take Sarah from Sweet Delights, whose world crumbled after having to close with not being able to bounce back. Small businesses are prime targets, but the right strategies can keep yours safe. Jay Hill, CEO of Network Providers, has co-authored The Cyber Playbook Simplifies Cybersecurity for Business Owners with Strategies to avoid costly breaches and fines, build a strong cyber attack response, secure your business with key protections. Cyber threats aren't slowing down, but you can stay ahead. Protect your business. Ensure its security for tomorrow. Get the Cyber Playbook today at networkprovidersinc.com/cyber-playbook or call 385-446-5500 now.
Bypass the mainstream narrative with Liberty News Radio at libertynewsradio.com. Engage with charismatic hosts live or on demand. We cover the crucial news focused on God, family, and country. News that other networks simply refuse to use. Think of LNR's hard-hitting news and podcasts at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join us at libertynewsradio.com. Empower your day with the truth, because the truth will set you free. libertynewsradio.com.
You're back, and Scoop is just getting done staring at Danila's Instagram account. Here's more 7.5 Radio.
All right, we are back. Scoop staying with Walter Yerkew and Mike Ragbrandt. And Mr. Edwards, you are wrong. Walter was mentioning Jack Daniels and ice, so I I did. Anyways, continue. Tell us about like the idiots in the street and Jack Daniels and ice.
Now, well, this is how I look at it. In an analogy that I came up with. You put ice in Jack Daniels, for a purpose. It has a purpose, and if you don't stir it up or pick it up and slosh it around, the ice is going to do its job, which is to take care of the Jack Daniels. And then eventually the ice, goes away. It does its job and it goes away. Now just look at, on the other hand, on the flip side of this, ice goes into Minneapolis, okay? Unless you go out in the street and stir it up, as a civilian, as a protester, and stir it up. If you leave it alone, ice is going to do its work and then go away. And that's all there is to it. You're not going to stir it up and spill anything. The only thing that's been spilled is the blood of these idiots. You want to die stupid, there's other ways to die stupid. If you want to spill your Jack Daniels, well, that's a shame because, that stuff is not only expensive, it's also delicious. Another analogy I came up with is if you go to a professional sports stadium, you're more than welcome to be in the stands and watch the action. You're more than welcome to yell at the umpires for what you think is a bad call on the bases or a bad strike or a bad, called ball. But once you jump on the field of play where you don't belong and get involved, you're going to get run down, you're going to get chased, you're going to get tackled, and, you're going to be cuffed. And if you continue to resist, you're going to feel, a continuum of being in custody. Same thing, people in Minnesota. You're more than welcome to stand on the sidelines and watch ICE work. Okay. First of all, you shouldn't be there. You should mind your own business because they are carrying high-powered weapons for the specific purpose that they're chasing may have high-powered weapons. So you're more than welcome to go down there and stand on the sidelines. But once you cross and jump onto the field of play, okay, and start disrupting stuff in a place that you don't belong, you're going to get chased, you're going to get run down, you're going to get tackled, you're going to be cuffed and taken into custody. And if you continue to resist, you're going to feel the continuum of custody. So, people just mind your business. They will do their job and they will go away. That's what ICE does. That's what police do. That's what sheriffs do. That's what other law enforcement do. They go in, they do their thing because they're needed there for one reason or another, and it's none of your damn business why they're there, unless you try to make it your business. And then you will feel the long arm of the law or the short pull of a trigger. It's your choice. Leave it be. Do not get involved. When I go past, a traffic accident, I just want to get past because I want to get home. I want to get to the liquor store to get my Jack Daniels. I want to go. I got places to go. I'm not going to sit there and rubberneck and try to get involved and see what's going on. Don't care. Doesn't concern me. I'm on my way somewhere. These people just have nothing better to do. And this nurse, whatever his name was, Alex, whatever, Pretty, we know his background now. And I said earlier this week, it's going to be sticky. I'm not going to make a decision on who this person is or what he was, like they did to Kyle Rittenhouse 4 years ago. So he got involved in something he had no business in. Was he a paid protester? We don't know this. Maybe that'll come out. But he's unemployed. He's had complaints written against him by patients and fellow staff. And here he is in the middle of a melee, more than one, with ICE. People, you got no business being out there. You have mechanisms on how to, if you don't like ICE in your neighborhood, stop trying to get rid of them today, right now, as it's happening. It's not going to work, and it's not going to work in your favor. You have mechanisms. It's called legislation. Go to your legislator. Bring it to Congress. Yes, it takes time, but this is our system. This is our system. What you people on the left are trying to do is trying to lose our democracy, which is what Mr. Trump is being blamed for if he was elected last November, 24, that we're going to lose our democracy. We're going to lose it. You people are not paying attention to the democracy. So you people are ruining our democracy. We have mechanisms in place. We have legal ways in place. That's what lawyers are for, although a lot of people don't like lawyers. Judges, we have prosecutors, we have attorneys. We have a system. And these people just want to go, instead of going through channels, they just want to go from channel 2 to channel 11 without having to skip through 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. They just want to go from the start to the end. They want to end it. And you can't do it. You have 3 ex-cops on the radio talking to you every week. It don't happen that way. It does not happen that way. If I arrest you and it's a bad arrest and you want to sue me, you can't sue me on the street. don't try to kick my ass on the street. You have a mechanism. You hire an attorney and you go through channels. You make the complaint. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing on a much bigger scale. And yeah, you may get into court in 4 or 5 years, but that's the way it works. And if you don't like it, either move to another country, live next to Rosie O'Donnell, or stay on the sidelines and mind your business. And you won't have to worry about being arrested, as you would claim, falsely, or being targeted as an agitator. It's a shame that 50% of our country think this way. It's a real shame that they feel this way. And, these people that are dying at the hands of themselves, it's like suicide by ice. They want to be martyrs. We'll bring up in the first segment, Don Lemon. He can't be a journalist. He can't be a human being. He wants to be a living martyr. And it's a shame. And I can't see people putting these unfortunate people that lost their lives in the past 2-3 weeks up on pedestals as martyrs. They're not the people that I want to think as, well, they were doing the right thing. No, they weren't. They were doing the wrong thing for the wrong reasons. And it's a shame that they'd rather have these animals that live in their neighborhoods. They're there for a reason. You got predators in your neighborhood. That's what they're there for. Illegal immigrant predators. That's what ICE is there for. And time again, when you ask a left, if, we have illegal immigrants, would you take one in and be responsible for them? And, of course, they say they got to talk to their wife, they got to talk to their husband, or they'll say that's what we pay taxes for, but they won't take them in. They're willing to die for them, but they won't take them into their house. So let's get rid of them. Obama shipped out 3.5 million people over 8 years. Nobody said a word. Nobody even knew what the hell was going on, what was happening. Mr. Trump steps in, uses the same squad, the same border czar in Mr. Homan, and Homan got the Medal of Honor from Obama, and now he's got a target on his back because he works for Mr. Trump. Those people on the left that are so radical, they're insane. They really are insane, and it's disgusting.
Folks, that's Walter Yerkew. Mike, do you have anything to add to that brilliant analysis from Walter?
Well, it was spot on. It was awesome. You nailed it. And listen, at the end of the day, we all know these are professional paid agitators, right? This is the shock troops, the brown shirts of the modern political left, right? That's all these people are. So their whole fraud mechanism, their whole means of propping themselves up and holding on to power and steering things in ways nobody ever wanted is being dismantled day by day by Trump's administration. And this is their response to that. They've mobilized their shock troops. These are paid protesters. We talked about, me and you had spoken the other day about Neville Roy Singh, and his financing and CCP financing and so many other, groups and people financing these NGOs to actually pay these protesters to go out and do that. There's a reason they have all the same signs, all at the same time, all in the same place. It's not organic. It's not natural. It's paid. It's paid professional protesters. These people were trained, via USAID by, in color revolutions. The same kind of stuff we did to other countries is being done to us right now by our own people.
Right. And, Mike, we'll talk about that after the break. But my take on this, what I can piggyback off of Walter, which is just absolutely brilliant, was that here's something these idiots can think about with concerning ICE and Customs Border Protection. America is a very exclusive private club. You're either a legacy member, you're born here, or you go through a rigorous selection process, and ICE and CBP are just the bouncers. When we come back, we'll talk about the real war in Minnesota. Stay tuned, everybody. This is 7-5 Radio.
Exposing corruption, informing citizens, pursuing liberty. You're listening to Liberty News Radio.
When
SRN News, I'm Mary Rose. President Trump says he made the right choice by deciding to nominate Kevin Warsh to lead the Federal Reserve.
He's very smart, very good, strong, young, pretty young, and I think he's going to do that. I mean, he was the central casting guy that people wanted.
He once supported higher interest rates to fight inflation, but more recently has backed lower rates. Warsh will have to be confirmed by the Senate. It's safe to say he won't be getting a yay from the Senate Banking Committee's top Democrat, Elizabeth Warren.
Kevin Warsh has already stood up in public as part of his tryout for attracting Donald Trump's attention and just claimed that up is down, in is out, black is white. He doesn't care.
Economist Steve Moore says President Trump's tax cut package passed by Congress last year is going to be a big boost for everyday Americans.
The vast majority of the tax cut went to the middle class, not rich people. I mean, and so I'm writing column now. What tax cut for the rich are they talking about? The average family is going to save about $2,000 or $3,000 this year on their taxes, thanks to the big, beautiful bill.
Power outages stretching into a second week are fueling frustration across the South, especially in Nashville. The National Weather Service forecaster Bob Oravec says Florida is expected to see a rare frost and maybe some flurries.
Cold temperatures are definitely getting down to Florida, especially as we move on into the weekend. Saturday will be a okay day, but as we go into Sunday morning and then especially Monday morning, the low temperatures across much of the peninsula are going to be in the low to mid-20s as you get away from the coast.
The National Weather Service says Arctic air will send temperatures plunging into the teens. This is SRN News.
Newsmax, you like Newsmax. I like it too. Newsmax has been terrific.
President Trump is right. Millions like you are tuning into Newsmax. You're watching Newsmax on cable. You're going to our streaming channel, Newsmax 2, and you're downloading our free Newsmax app on your smartphones and TVs. Reuters Institute says we're now one of the top news brands in the nation. Every night, watch great shows with Rob Schmidt, Carl Higbie, Rob Finnerty, and more as they expose the big media lies, the Washington swamp, and they're never afraid to talk about faith, freedom, and the values that made us great. Find out why Newsmax is the fastest-growing news channel in America. Make the switch today and join our news revolution. Get Newsmax on cable, on streaming, and download the free app today. It takes just seconds to start. Let President Trump know you stand with Newsmax. It's for real news, for real people. Make the switch today.
Can a nation conceived in liberty carry its head high if it denies protection to the youngest and most vulnerable of its citizens? Can a country founded on God-given rights continue to thrive without understanding that life is a precious gift from our Creator? As a physician, I have looked into the eyes of 1-pound babies. I have cradled their small bodies in the palm of one hand. I defy those who are careless, who would disregard life and look at these tiny little miracles and say, we're not going to protect that. But I believe there will come a time when we are all judged on whether or not we took a stand in defense of all life from the moment of conception until our last natural breath. One thing I promise you, I will always take a stand for life.
Introducing Managed IT Services from NPI. We offer top-notch data backup and recovery, email spam protection, and network security tailored to your needs and budget. With 20-plus years of experience in the medical field, our HIPAA-certified consultants know what it takes to protect sensitive information. Don't settle for less. Give us a call at 801-706-6980 and experience the difference with Managed IT Services. Remember, your IT support should be fast, efficient, and reliable.
Introducing PrepStartsNow.com, your ultimate guide to readiness and peace of mind. We offer practical preparedness tools, training, and education to take your family's household readiness to the next level. Browse the prep shop for essential products, check out our planning guides, and stay informed with our prep blog. Visit PrepStartsNow.com and subscribe to our emails for exclusive offers, new products, and future events. Remember, preparedness begins with PrepStartsNow.com.
you're still listening, here's more 7-5 Radio.
And we are back. Scoop Stanton with Walter Yerkew and Mike Regbrandt. Folks, you know we are better than everybody else because you listen to us week after week. A couple weeks ago, we said people like Renee Good were mercenaries. We read the definition of mercenaries, and she met every single definition according to the Geneva Convention. Then last week, we were speculating, based on our knowledge, our experience, that these people protesting in Minnesota are probably paid protesters, probably getting it from NGOs, and acting like a intelligence gathering organization like Central Intelligence, MI6, Mossad, what have you, and then leave it to civilian journalist Cam Higbee and, of course, James O'Keefe. That proved us right once again. I just made my jaw drop. I was like, oh my God, we said this, just speculating based on what we know. And these gentlemen, unlike mainstream media, including Fox News, they go out and prove it. Mike, what do you have concerning these people involved with the terrorism? Because frankly, let me ask you this: do these people constitute committing acts of terrorism? First of all.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at it, right? Terrorism is what? It's using the actions they commit to create fear or create psychological terror, right? To basically force people to do what they want them to do based upon a fear of a bad or negative result. So yeah, they're terrorists in every sense of the word, right? They cancel culture where they were ruining people's careers and lives, debanking people, deplatforming people, and then you carry that forward into actually physically attacking people, burning down facilities, burning down businesses, looting businesses. All these things are all terrorist actions. This is nothing more than a simple color revolution. It's exactly what Central Intelligence and the State Department have done and many, many other countries throughout the world over the last few decades. And it's just been turned inward now on the U.S.
Really? How? And like James O'Keefe, he did a little bit of research. And how is it that some of these NGOs are able to get tax money, so-called grants, to fund these organizations? Is there any oversights?
Yeah, I mean, you have guys like Neville Roy Singh, who, is a tech millionaire, almost a billionaire, and working alongside the CCP. He lives in Shanghai. He works with a CCP organization dedicated to propagandizing and, bolstering the CCP's image in the world stage. You have so many others, Code Pink. I mean, there's so many organizations, right? And in Minnesota right now, you have an organization called Make the Road New York, which is nothing more than a left-wing, organizational tool that they use to kind of fund protests. They were involved in the Palestine protests. They were involved in BLM. They were involved in a lot of the stuff that's going on. I mean, their primary focus is mass migration and supporting mass migration, which is also a Soros, open borders kind of, thing. But they're involved in so much more. They've received over $6 million at minimum from the U.S. government in the form of grants, and these grants are being awarded based upon politics, right? So you get these left-wing AOC, Elizabeth Warren, whatever, into office or whatever, and they make sure that these grants are steered towards these organizations, and these organizations make sure that the people get out and do the job they're supposed to do to keep these people in power. That's really all it comes down to. It's a very simple formula, and it's been done multiple times in other countries. Now you're just seeing it firsthand here, and we have been for quite some time.
Jesus Christ. And of course, Pam Bondi, what she does is after she's done auditioning for the Fox News Channel legal correspondent, sends a strongly worded letter to Governor Tim Walz. Again, these people are terrorists. And also, Mike, did you watch any of the O'Keefe clips from him in Minnesota being followed by these people?
Yeah, I've seen that. Him, Cam Higbee, a bunch of others that have been followed or attacked. Fox News crew that was chased off when they were trying to film. Quite a few. It's happening everywhere. It's happening in Minnesota. It's also happening in L.A. It happened in New York during the BLM riots here. I mean, this is not anything new. This is the same behavior over and over again. It's very well coordinated. It's very well trained. Minnesota, what's coming out now, though, is the Signal Chat group where they organized and also the fact that they had people, at some level, in state government helping to coordinate and facilitate these things to the degree of actually providing information on running license plates and everything else, police functions. So, I mean, it just gives you an idea of how well funded and coordinated it is. And it's very much involving, local, state, and even federal, people in elected office or in bureaucrat offices, you know what I mean? So it's very, very, very coordinated. It's very, very, very deeply entrenched, and it's been there a long time. It's just, it's now being exposed. I know Bondi gets a lot of bad, gets a lot of heat from our side of the fence, and I get it. But also at the same time, there's a tremendous amount of stuff going on in the background, and Bondi's real job as the head person there is, doing damage control, is getting out in front of the cameras and talking about what's going on. The real work that goes on in those kinds of cases, especially cases like this where it's more of a RICO kind of case, that's a very long kind of detailed process to make a case like that. I've done RICO cases. They're very, very, very involved. They're very complicated. So I get the frustration people have where we're not seeing like these massive arrests. We're not seeing people taken down immediately. There's no high-profile arrests yet. That takes a lot of time. You start at the bottom, you work your way up, you build up your case, you collar some low-level or mid-level people, and you flip them on the others, and you make sure that everybody's kind of got their ducks in a row before you really start doing anything, and you don't announce anything until you've actually got them all in cuffs. So, I mean, I kind of get where they're at. I mean, if it's a year from now and Bondi still hasn't done anything, I'd be kind of annoyed, because that's more than enough time at that point. You're talking that'd be, 2 years out, almost over 2 years out. So, but do I think it's that she's not doing anything? I think that her office is very much burdened with a heavy, heavy load. There's a lot going on, the election of 2020 and so many other things going on. So I think there's, maybe give a little bit more time to see what things play out or how things play out. But I think it'll be very, very good very, very soon. I think a lot of people are going to be very happy with what comes out of that here very shortly, because it seems like they're starting to actually really move. It's been about a year, and now we're seeing movement, right? You're seeing they raided Georgia election offices to take those ballots back. They've done other things to kind of start, not broadcasting, but kind of move the ball along the field, so to speak. So I think it'll get a lot better, a lot quicker once we just give a little more patience and time here.
Right. But, Walter, let me ask you this. Do you think Pam Bondi's moving fast enough? Because, I mean, people are getting, people are fooling around and finding out. And then they're going after our ICE agents and Customs and Border Protection. You think she should just stay the course and keep the pace, or actually, lock people up?
Well, there's two sides of the coin. And I agree with everything Mike said, and he put it in good perspective, and opened up some of my closed mindedness about Pam Bondi. So thank you for that information, Mike. And however, it's our history of having an AG from the Republican side. The history is they're always in front of a congressional hearing and explaining stuff. Okay, she hasn't had to do that very often, but I think she will be. And she's on television a lot. She's on Fox a lot. She's on Newsmax a lot. She does interviews and stuff, which is fine. It's like the old park walk and talk that we used to do on the street. Let people get to know you, okay? But if you're parked and you're walking and you're talking, are you preventing crime? Maybe from where you're standing, that's fine. From what you're speaking about, that's fine. But the people want to see action, and she has 50 states. She's in charge of 50 federal states as far as crime goes. And she has, I'm going to call her a partner, is Judge Janine in Washington. I think she's doing a slam-up job. I think she's up there. She says, we got this guy. She's up there. She says, we indicted this person. She's up there. And what we need from Pam Bondi is more of that. I know Judge Janine has the experience, and she knows how to put it out in the media, a lot better, more experienced than Miss Bondi does. But agreed, Pam Bondi came into an office that there wasn't a lot on her desk. It was all stuffed in the drawers, and that's what she's pulling out, and that's what's bogging her down. And all that stuff, when the Democrats left office, all that stuff was hidden on her. So she didn't know what she was getting into until the drawers started to open up, and now she's got a pile on her desk.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay tuned, everybody.
Former Sheriff Richard Mack recounts in his book The Proper Role of Law Enforcement how he came to realize while working as a beat cop how wrong the all-too-common orientation of police officers is when they think of their job as being to write tickets and arrest people. Richard Mack tells of his personal transformation from by-the-number cop to Constitution-conscious defender of citizen safety and freedoms. Learn what it really means to serve and protect. Purchase your copy at CSPOA.org. That's CSPOA.org.
Imagine a school where faith and integrity are at its center, where heritage and responsibility instill character, where educating both hearts and minds brings about academic excellence. There is a school in American Fork where character and embracing the providence of a living God are fundamental, where students' national test scores average near the 90th percentile. Based on LDS principles and a love of country, now in our 39th year, American Heritage School is accepting fall enrollment for kindergarten through high school. What would you do for your child? Give them an education that will prepare them for life. Located east of the Temple in American Fork, American Heritage School is a remarkable and affordable alternative. Visit us, find us online, or in the Yellow Pages. American Heritage School in American Fork.
Get ready to be part of something incredible. We're breaking barriers and delivering the powerful stories that mainstream media won't touch. Your support is what fuels our mission to revolutionize journalism and bring you the truth. Join our passionate community of changemakers by donating at libertynewsradio.com today. Together, we're creating the future of news.
This is 7.5 Radio with Walter Yuku. Walter Yurkow. Walter Kiwi. Here's Walton Scoop.
All right, we are back, and during those very important commercials, I was doing my due diligence by looking at the Instagram account of not only of Danila Rodrigues, but DR Wellness and Aesthetics. And today, Danila and her daughter posted a very funny clip about how DR Wellness and Aesthetics accepts cash. And then Danila in her scrubs and holding a cup of iced coffee as the girl behind the counter, played by her daughter, "Can I pay cash? I really don't want my husband to know." And the daughter says, "Yeah, we take cash." So it's really, really funny. Check Danila out at DanilaRodrigues.model. Also go to DR Wellness and Aesthetics for those that live in Washington, D.C., or those interested in medical spa procedures. See what's up and get your opinion from there. Anyways, I want to talk about a incident that happened in Minneapolis where a Minneapolis police officer shot and killed an unarmed woman. Now, of course, this occurred in 2017, but of course, like the mainstream media got to put a headline, cop shoots unarmed lady. But here, this incident took place in 2017, and you had a lady called 911 to report a possible rape near her house. They sent a car, 2 officers, and the officers went past the address that was given for the alleged crime taking place. So the caller walks out to the RMP or the cruiser to let the cops know, hey, you went past the location. So the cops were spooked, And Officer Muhammad Noor, sitting in the driver's seat, drew his weapon, pointed his weapon over to the driver's seat, and discharged his weapon, shooting and killing Justine Damon. So this is just a piss poor police procedures 101. But long story short, there was no outrage, no protests, nobody burning anything down. Why? Because Ms. Damon happened to be a white immigrant from Australia, and police officer Muhammad Noor was a black immigrant from, you guessed it, Somalia. So that just shows how these leftists, they only go after things that will serve their cause, or they'll go after things that they're paid to do. Because if you go back to January 6th, you thought the Capitol Police and all law enforcement was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And, of course, they carry the narrative like, oh, officers were killed in the line of duty. No, they were not. Not one officer died in the line of duty that day. But anyways, I digress. Mike, what say you about this incident where everybody's silent on the death of Justine Damon?
And you can kind of set it right there. It's just piss poor police procedures, right? It was poor training, poor mentality for it, and he should have been screened better, I guess, because obviously, at the very least, he was startled or something by our presence or whatever, and why it was his gun was out pointed that way, I have no idea. That's kind of stupid. But yeah, I remember that happening. I just don't remember the details too well, but it just, at the very least, that's extremely poor training and poor screening.
Right. Well, Walter, I know you drew your service weapon once or twice during the week at the 7.5. If you're rolling on a scene and you're sitting in the passenger side, the recorder side of the RMP, and somebody walks up and you got spooked, would you pull out your weapon and shoot the person on the driver's side from the passenger side?
Well, you know, we can look at it in two analogies. You know, you have two officers in the radio car. You have the driver, you have the operator, and the recorder. The recorder, of course, being the passenger. The recorder is the one that takes arrests and callers. So if I didn't want, you know, to arrest somebody, I'd probably, go ahead and shoot him. No, I'm just kidding. It's less paperwork to shoot somebody than it is to arrest somebody in New York City. But yeah, the guys from Somalia, sometimes just because you pass a test, it doesn't mean that, you're the smartest rock in the bag. NYPD, we had, many, I shouldn't say a lot, but we did have many in my day that were born in other countries, including California, that came to the NYPD. And you need to understand the culture of what you're dealing with, with the freedoms or freedom of speeches and stuff. I wouldn't expect anybody from Somalia, not even a cop that was an American cop, a cop that a Somalian that's a cop in America. I wouldn't guess that they know our Constitution. We got cops that are born here that don't know the Constitution, and don't realize, citizens' rights and such. And trigger happy people, arrest happy people, you pull the cuffs out, on people. And it was unfortunate that it happened, but you're absolutely right. It didn't fit the left's narrative. And pretty much it was brushed under the carpet as,
right.
A bad shoot, but it wasn't done facetiously. And it was, deemed as in, not an accidental shooting. It was unnecessary. The department, I remember the department was sued and they paid out, and that was it. I don't know if that cop is still, on his job or not, 9 years later. But sometimes that's the way it goes. It doesn't fit a narrative. They pay people off and they're gone. and it's unfortunate that happened to that woman. Less and less people are calling the police about anything. You hear about crime going down. Statistically, crime's going down in some places. And it went down when I was in the 7-5, and only because we were told not to make any more drug arrests. So, they were after the violent arrests. Drug arrests went down, but doesn't mean people ain't out there doing it, and it doesn't mean that law enforcement wasn't told to not make arrests in certain cases and such. So a lot of it just went by the wayside. Statistics, you can't believe a statistic these days. Everything is cooked, so it looks better for the local politician. And unfortunate that's the way it is today. And white-red America will remain blind.
Right. You're absolutely 100% correct on that. We've been talking this for like 2 years now about juking the stats. And I'm sure they were doing it back, Walter, when you were on the beat back in the day. And then, what was it? The TV show The Wire was talking about juking the stats and even used the term juking the stats. And, it's still going on today. And the people at Detroit Police, they didn't really know how to play with statistics because they're able to make dead bodies go away. But that's for a different time, for a different show. But anyways, finally, Governor Tampon Tim Walz is a man of the people. He spoke at a group of anti-ICE protesters at the Executive Mansion in Minneapolis. So he said that these people were about to cause good, or he was talking about causing good trouble. Now, what gets me is, I have never heard anything called good trouble. Trouble is trouble. It's not good. Anyways, what's really funny, the optics looks amazing because you got the governor at the Executive Mansion standing on a wrought iron gate with his protective detail, within sight, and standing in front of the Executive Mansion, which literally looks like a castle. So here he is, man of the people at this, standing behind the protection of a gate with the security people at this ginormous mansion. So, anyways, that's Tim Walz in a nutshell. And also, real quick, also in Minnesota, you had Minnesota National Guard people handing out coffee and donuts to ICE protesters at a federal building. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, because National Guard people wear name tape above the left breast pocket. This is U.S. Army. So you got members of the U.S. Army National Guard giving out coffee and donuts to these rabble rousers. So anyways, Walt, what say you about the governor talking to the people from the Executive Mansion and National Guard giving away provisions?
Thank God this idiot isn't the VP. Our country would be overrun with illegals with wide open borders. And of course, Kamala Chameleon would have been president, and it would have been word salad for, all these people are going to become, American citizens. Give them IDs and everything. And Tampon Tim, would have been ordering ICE to stand down everywhere.
Right. Anyways, with that being said, this is Peter Stanton with Walter Urquhart and Mike Rigbrandt reminding you, you can make a difference. Go out and make it.
Edwards for 7-5 Radio. For those who work the streets and the jails, thanks for keeping us safe. So long, everybody.